Have you ever stood in a crowded room, surrounded by laughter and noise, yet felt a profound, overwhelming urge to simply walk away into the night? Why does some people's vibrant energy feel like a burden to you? Choosing silence over the crowd isn't a sign of weakness. It is actually survival. If you have ever walked away from a long-term relationship and felt a wave of relief instead of regret, then this deep exploration is for you. Today, we delve into the hidden psychology of those who choose to cut everyone off, discovering the strength found within the quietest of exits from society. You are not broken for needing space. Your mind is simply navigating a world that demands too much of your precious and limited emotional energy every day. Many label this retreat as a failure to connect, but they do not see the fierce protection of the self happening deep beneath the calm surface. This video is a journey into the heart of solitude, understanding why the act of leaving is sometimes the only way to truly save your soul. Welcome to the sanctuary of the self. Let us explore why your quiet exit isn't an ending, but a necessary and powerful new beginning for peace. You weren't always like this, distant and guarded. You were once the reliable one, the friend who always answered the phone at 2 in the morning. You were the family member who kept the peace, the one who held everyone else together while your own internal world was slowly falling apart quietly. But somewhere along the way, the constant demands became too much. Your empathy was a bridge that everyone crossed, but no one ever stopped to repair. Emotional burnout doesn't happen overnight. It is a slow erosion of the spirit until the only way to survive is to stop the flow of noise. You began to realize that the mask of being okay was becoming too heavy to wear. The reliable person was tired of being the only anchor. Cutting people off feels less like isolation and more like a sanctuary. It is the moment you stop carrying weights that were never yours to hold. Your nervous system finally learned to protect itself. You didn't become a stranger to them. You simply became a friend to yourself for the first time. To understand this shift, we must look at science. Polyvagal theory explains how our nervous system responds to perceived threats and long-term social stress. When you are constantly surrounded by toxicity or overwhelming demands, your brain enters a state of hypervigilance, always scanning for the next source of pain. This is the classic fight or flight response. But when you cannot fight and you cannot flee, your system chooses a third option, the freeze. The freeze state is a biological shutdown. It is your body's way of saying, I can no longer process this information. I must disconnect to survive. Emotional cutoff is a psychological circuit breaker. When the current of social pressure becomes too high, the system trips to prevent a total mental collapse. Research shows that this isn't just a mood. It is a profound neurological shift. You are literally rewiring your brain to prioritize your own inner safety. By removing the triggers, the people who drain you, you allow your nervous system to exit the state of high alert and finally begin the healing process. This isn't about being cold. It is about the biological necessity of silence. Your brain is desperately trying to find a baseline of quiet and peace. Every time you distance yourself from a toxic connection, you are giving your amygdala permission to stop screaming and start breathing again, deeply and slowly. The science is clear. Protecting your peace isn't just a choice. It is a requirement for a healthy, functioning brain in a chaotic, modern world. Once you understand the why behind the shutdown, you can stop feeling guilty and start seeing your silence as a sophisticated tool for mental longevity. There is a vital distinction to make here. Are you building a wall to hide behind, or are you drawing a boundary to live within? Walls are built out of fear. They are thick, impenetrable, and they keep everyone out, including the people who might actually want to help you heal. Boundaries, however, are built out of self-respect. They are filters. They allow the light in while keeping the chaos and the emotional vampires at bay. When you cut people off, you aren't necessarily building a wall. you are often just defining the perimeter of your own personal sanctuary and inner peace. You are saying, "This space is sacred. To enter, you must bring respect, you must bring kindness, and you must not disturb the silence I've built." This is not antisocial behavior. It is the architectural work of the soul. You are creating a cathedral of the self where you can finally think. Walls protect you from pain, but they also prevent growth. Boundaries protect your peace, allowing you to grow in a safe and controlled environment. Understand that choosing who has access to you is the most important decision you will ever make. Not everyone deserves a seat at your table. When you stop letting everyone in, you finally have the room to let yourself out. You become the gatekeeper of your own emotional and mental health. This choice is a declaration of value. You are telling the world that your energy is not a public resource, but a private and precious treasure. Protecting your energy is one of the most quietly fierce things you can do. It is a rebellion against a world that demands your constant availability. Sovereignty over one's own life often requires a period of walking alone. Solitude is not the same as loneliness. It is a state of being. In solitude, you find the version of yourself that wasn't shaped by the expectations of others. You find the person who existed before the world intervened. Loneliness is a craving for connection that isn't there. Solitude is the joy of a connection with the self that is finally, beautifully, and fully realized. When you choose to be alone, you are not rejecting the world. You are simply prioritizing the most important relationship you will ever have, with yourself. There is a profound power in being your own best company. It means you no longer look to others to fill the gaps in your soul. This is the peace you chose. It is a deliberate, conscious act of reclaiming your time, your thoughts, and your emotional capacity from the outside world. Even when you return to the world, you carry this solitude within you. It becomes an internal anchor that prevents you from being swept away again. Choosing solitude is a radical act of self-love. It is the ultimate proof that you are enough exactly as you are, without any outside validation. Embrace the silence. In the quiet, you will hear the truth of who you are, and you will find the strength to keep choosing yourself daily. We have traveled from the noise of the crowd to the quiet of the mountain. We have seen that your retreat is a calculated act of survival. Your silence is a mirror. It reflects the state of your soul and the depth of your need for a life that is truly your own. Ask yourself today, are you running away from a world that hurts, or are you finally returning to a self that has been waiting for you? There is no shame in the quiet exit. There is only the profound, life-changing relief of finally being able to breathe in your own company. The world will always be loud. The question is, will you continue to let it drown out the quiet, important voice of your own beautiful soul? Take your time. Healing doesn't have a deadline. Your sanctuary is always here, waiting for you to step inside and close the door behind you. Thank you for joining us in this quiet space. Remember, protecting your peace is the most powerful thing you can do. Choose yourself starting today.